gathering of vital parameters in this case, but sensitive data in general terms, it's important the ground basis is to create a framework, which is a legal and ethical framework, which protect, let's say, those taking part in this kind of simulations. So I think having framed that activities are possible, and of course there is also the introduction of data can be, we can use also synthetic data, fake data, for instance. So there are different options that can be used. And Zeynep also, because we were discussing that a lot also as partner, there are also some tools which can be used in order to provide data to the devices in order to create specific environments, testing the features of the triage text in this sense without actually gathering real vital parameters. So there are different ways that can be used and applied in order to do and carry out simulations under real conditions.
Thank you very much, Serena. Zeynep, do you have something to add on this? Yeah, sure.
Presentation. Okay. And yes, medical simulation, because I work as a training coordinator for many years and using human patient simulations, there are very good benefits because you cannot find cardiac arrest at the same time and teach your students or emergency medical services. So with this human patient simulations, you can make many cardiac arrests, and the trainees can intervene. And it is good for enhanced clinical decision making. And so we use this in training. We created a Simbulance idea and making the training in the ambulance. But it is not easy, you know. Very and also we use this testing and mechanical CPR device, Lucas. And for going down from the stairs, we need uninterrupted chain massage, you know. So it can be used in such cases, but they are very, very, very expensive. And it is sometimes damage. And also they produce outdoor Caesar trauma patient simulator, but also it is can be damage happen. So they created other technical providers, cheap solutions like Simmon, but it is not the case. Again, I want to show this because if you create a solution, you must make cheap trainings solution. For example, triage, your triage watch, and without real sensors. This is the case, I think. Again, the same for automated external defibrillator, and it has a remote control, so the instructor can change the scenario. So you need to create a medical technology tool for EMS, an instructor model with remote control, defined scenarios, debriefing session, and for KPIs, we need to make a good literature review and measuring the interventions without and with technological tools. It's not easy, but we can do it in iProcure. We will try. And statistical measures, but in the literature, time spent, we expect less time. But the literature says not exactly the same because the EMS people not get used to these triage things, for example. So afterwards, it will be less time. And we will look for the evaluation of under triage and over triage. And that's all from me. This is me.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Zeynep. Yes, it's a really challenging question to be answered, especially when it comes to KPIs. And especially when it comes to if it is possible to have two exercises going in parallel to compare the advantages that technology is providing, as well as if there might be some effects on the efficiency of each single first responder because they're using the technology, but in total, the information collected is more complete and the overall time needed for collecting this information, taking decisions and at the end respond has been lowered. Hearing the clock of John in my ears, I will proceed to the last question because, Dimitris, you also answered about the importance of PathoCert on medical first responders, meaning having a good estimation of affected citizens from this contamination. It is also a significant part of our technology's development, also for medical first responders, is related to certification. And I would like, in these 2-3 minutes that are remaining, to discuss about the needs and requirements regarding the process for these project results to reach the proper certification levels. And starting with Dimitrios for PathoCert, if in a minute, if it's possible to give us your view on what certification needs are needed for PathoCert to be able to be applied overall.
So, difference perhaps with because our users of technologies are, in addition to the first responders, are also other type of experts like microbiologists, etc. So here we would need to have. We use in PathoCert the environmental technology verification protocol, which is actually an established protocol. It's based on an ISO that is used, and it can be delivered by a number of laboratories in Europe. So I think that was a good basis, and actually 2 independent laboratories tested independently, I repeat this, the technologies within the project. So that was we had a good experience with this. And probably, maybe I need to suggest that, maybe if there was an emergency technology verification scheme based on an ISO standard or something like that, that would be really kind of accelerate having this stamp, let's say, that would be really, that could accelerate the adoption of some technologies, especially for emergency. And just a small comment here in closing, emergency technologies, especially like the ones that we developed, are so much different from what, for instance, microbiologists are accustomed to, because they need to do, they need to find the results with this specific accuracy to follow some specific standards. But the first responder, they want to get an answer within 10 minutes. Can I enter this flooded room or not? And the only way to do that, you need to have a technology like the rapid test we have in COVID. So that would be, well, in a nutshell, suggestion about this type of technologies.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dimitrios. And closing the session, I promise. I'm trying in my mind to find a song that is related to patience, but I will not. Closing the session exactly on that. In this valley of death that you described also yesterday, Philippe, especially for medical application, there is also a minimum, let's say, a small hole that is related also to the medical device regulation, meaning that you are developing a really good solution for triage, but on the same time is a medical device, or the software that we are developing should be approved as a software, as a medical device. Therefore, Serena, I was wondering, what's your idea about this pathway from RIAs to EAs, PCPs, and probably also PPIs, how this might support, or what other instruments might be there to help us achieve significant research results important for citizens to be approved by MDR and saving lives. of victims.
Have you finished?
Yeah, Serena
that's
will.
fantastic.
Serena,
Well done, well done.
Serena
We're gonna
will
discuss
answer, and I'm
separately.
pretty sure, John, that you'll not interrupt a beautiful woman, right?
Please, I certainly wouldn't. Please, Serena, did you want to say something?
Okay, so I'm gonna be really as short as possible. This is one of the very important point also raising in the PCPs, because at the end of the day, the contractors are developing amazing solution, but the first responders, in order to acquire them, need to be then certified basically, because otherwise they cannot use them. So among all the difficulties and the whole work that has been done, it must be ensured kind of a smooth certification pathway to that. What in PCPs is happening now is that this is left a bit on the shoulder of the external contractors, so they need to provide something that they need to engage themselves for the certification process, and this may be also an invitation to the on the European, on the Commission level to. I think so far there is not much support in this on this matter, and I think having instruments or support in helping the contractors in this case, but also project partners when they are developing technologies, in certifying them, I think it would be of great help, because it's central for actually using then the technologies that we are developing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again. Lady, by all means, just stay there. That's fine. You're going nowhere. You've stayed there for 20 minutes longer than you were supposed to, so you might as well stay there for another 10. Is that okay? Lovely. Okay. It falls to me to close us down, but you have one more job to do before I actually let you go out the door, and we'll ask Philippe to close us down in a second. I'm really grateful for the structure that our 5 panelists have brought today, our 5 panels. I've done the last 2 days, I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't think we will see a better structured day, and the way it's delivered its information. And we described it, didn't we, that it looked back at the past, it then looked at the gaps, then looked at solutions, then looked at application and validation. It was a really strong story. So I just want to thank the moderator. Let's thank the moderators who can pass it on to their panels. Thank you. And by name, obviously, we got team direction, which was Dennis Davis was online. We felt the love in the room from Dennis, didn't we, Olivier? Definitely felt the love in the room. Great. We had Tassos, who led his superb one, Christian, Tina, and Eleftherios. Thank you one more time. Thank you very much. So we now have, and I mean it this time, we have about 6 minutes to gather some key thoughts from around the room. Now that means that you've got a maximum of 30 seconds to tell me what's the biggest takeaway you have from today, from the whole day. And it needs to come from someone who hasn't spoken before. And at 30 seconds, I'll shut you down. So I'm going to start with Yildiray. What have you got out of the day, Yildiray? There, behind you.
Hi, this is Yildiray from Hi, this is Yildiray Kapak from TeamAware project. Actually, today I heard a lot of the keyword interoperability, but most of the time I have not seen a concrete solution for that. I am the standardization manager in our project too, but unfortunately I couldn't find a, how can I say, a technical committee, standardization technical committee for emergency management. Okay. I have research OASIS, I have research ISO, I have researched SAN, but couldn't find a technical committee.
Session tomorrow. Yeah. You will be here tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So it's for
Yeah,
that,
good. We'll move into that area in a moment. Another. Let's see some hands from people that haven't said anything today publicly. Excellent. Please, your biggest takeaway.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Norman Kerle, University of Twente. I was triggered by the discussion on expectation management. Tina also referred to that, and by extension, honesty and transparency. It's something that I think we've all seen in our projects. You see tools that come nowhere near at the end to the target TRL, yet they get hyped up and they get sold as a great result. I can see that, I can understand why, but as a researcher, as an academic, we are used to also accepting, let's say, negative results because that's how we learn, right? And I think it's also a bit of a responsibility on part of RIA and the Commission also to question those things seriously and say, look, this is not quite what we wanted.
Yeah.
Why is that? And not just say, okay,
Good.
it ticks a box and it's good, but this is
Excellent.
something I would like to see more of. So encouragement also to everybody.
Well said. Thank you very much. Honesty and integrity, transparency in research. Thank you very much. Someone else, come on. I know we're all desperate for pudding. Karl-Heinz.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So being a kind of outsider, being member of the Joint Siberian Center of Excellence, NATO accredited body, so NATO within an EU project, quite nice. On the other hand, I'm just recognized I'm doing that since 5 years now. So I started in December 2018 to take part in this kind of lovely events. So my remark regarding the today and the day yesterday, where we come from societal resilience down to concrete projects. What I'm missing, and I mentioned it I think last time as well, is this kind of civil-military cooperation. First time we had an EDA representative here. That's good so far. We should continue like that. On the other hand, following the news, the Russian president is now verbally attacking Lithuania, not taking care or behave right towards the Russian population there.
Okay.
And here a bell rings. So
Excellent.
2014 was somehow started somehow similar. So imagine we have an Article 5 operation. So
Excellent.
collective defense.
Karl-Heinz, you're considerably bigger than me, and you're just a little bit scary, if I'm honest. But I'm going to stop you there, because civil-military is the big message, the gap in civil-military. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, we should
That's
think
excellent.
about that, and maybe projects can be related to that to strengthen the civil and military portion.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I'm going to take one final one, and then back to Philippe to end the day for us. Please, sir, 30 seconds.
Thank you. I know that public emergency teams and agencies have a lot of challenges related to technologies, interoperability, and so on. But please consider a closer cooperation with the private sector, mainly the critical infrastructure operators, that they could provide also information systems, technologies, also their own emergency teams to cooperate in the case of big disasters. Just that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move closer to the private sector, and I'm going to agree with you that. Obviously, I am. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm going to end the day now for our point of view and hand over to Philippe to wish us all. Can I just thank you one more time? Your engagement has been superb, and well done to all our panelists again. Well done. Well done. Very good.
Well, I will not say too much things. In fact, just to thank you very much for your engagement and discussions, and thanking all the moderators and John for your excellent job. And I have an announcement to make, actually. This key, where it's written European Empowerment for Democracy, has been found in the street. So maybe it is belonging to one of you. If you want to take your car, well, this is the key, you know, of this. So, well, I keep it, and otherwise, well, maybe it's to another person. Well, I would like to just close this session by saying that you will, well, it's really logistically, you will have a cocktail party here in the lobby. You need to leave at 5:30 because there will be a stage being organized, and then there will be dinner served at around 7, a little bit before 7, and then you will be all welcome back in the room. Regarding the job, the work itself, there will be some discussions on CBRN and civil military. Well, Wolfgang, in Strasbourg, we will have some discussions on civil military. And I would like to say that in the work program 2024, there is a clear reference to civil military cooperation. So I can highlight that to you. It's clear that we don't discard this, but it's not in all the topics, but it is recognized. I would like to stress that Regarding the clustering effect, you have a cluster on technologies for first responders. There is certainly an incentive for you to continue working and to merge projects, to have synergies among projects, and to invite first responders in different places. You are not obliged to meet always in Brussels. You can have some other activities. And I've learned a lot today. I've listened a lot to what aspects that I did not really realize regarding the first responder needs, so it will be taken on board. And I hope that you will help us, because we need your expertise to progress. I would like to stress that we have done already a lot of move forward, because I remember it was with Jean-Luc Gallat some years ago. He had a project called Miracle, and he had developed a mobile lab at the time of the Ebola crisis, and there was a colonel of the firefighter who came to me. He was invited to just applaud, just to be informed about this. And he told me, well, what has been developed is like a Ferrari, brand new car, fantastic car. And I don't have the money for buying this car. I don't have the driving license, and I don't have the infrastructure to drive this car. So if you don't involve the first responders from upstream, that is research programming, to downstream validation and uptake of results, then you will develop solutions that will not be affordable. This was absolutely a clear message to us. And in the process of research programming later on, there have been some criteria for eligibility to involve first responders. Maybe it's not yet ideal, but we are on this process in our research program to have more and more involvement of first responders. We certainly miss, as you say, we certainly miss the private sector. We miss the private sector. We had this in FP7, very strongly present. It has been a little bit diluted in the DRS area, not in FCT, but in the DRS area. We need to reshuffle this, because the market uptake is very, very important. And we still miss the citizen dimension. So we need to really have the full team, policymakers, scientists, SMEs, practitioners. Well, you don't like this word, but when I say practitioners, not only firefighter, it's also police forces, it's also emergency, and the citizen dimension through the city's involvement. It's very, very complex. This forum is about this, is about bringing people together, trying to find ways of communicating and working together that we try to crystallize in research topics, which is not at all easy, I can tell you. It's not at all easy. So we are very open to listen to your advice, your recommendations, trying to do the best we can. We will be developing the work program 2025 we are now discussing this. I would be keen certainly to have it open, to have thematic areas and make it open, and we see, because you are the experts and you have to tell us what are the needs. So maybe it's a way to see what will be coming. But then after 26, 27, we will have more discussion in depth related to well-defined topics, and we will be next year really starting to discuss the next framework program, the 10th framework program. So everything is coming on. So if you have actually ideas, recommendations, things that you would like to consider, feel free to contact, feel free to send mails, feel free to make suggestions. It will not be lost, I can assure you. It will not be lost. It's considered, it's being discussed. It's discussed among the unit in which I'm working, but then after it has to be discussed with the member states representatives. It's a very long process, but it's never lost. I would like to thank you very much. Closing this day, which has been very, very dense and fruitful. Invited you to have a drink all together, and then to meet later. There will be very good music. This tonight it will be bluesy, jazzy, very, very. Yesterday it was bossa nova style, and I like that very much. Yeah, now it will be a little bit with trombone, trumpet, and very, very strong blues music. Thank you very much, and see you later.